Hello, my international professionals. Here's Storani, your international career strategist and LinkedIn expert. And this is my YouTube channel where I bring successful professionals and also other professionals to help you expand your international career. So today I have two renowned lawyers. So they are specialized in immigration law in Spain and Portugal. And they're going to talk about how to live and work legally in Spain and Portugal. So thank you for being here. So this is Blanca and this is Guilherme, and they're going to introduce themselves. So
hello guys, nice to meet you all. So I'm Guilherme, I'm a Portuguese attorney and I'm specialized in immigration law. So we're here to talk a little bit about the Portuguese scenario right now in terms of its immigration and to ask questions for Blanca in regards to the Spanish law as well, and to solve any doubts you might have. So we're here for sharing and for having a good convo with you.
Hello, my name is Blanca. I'm a Spanish lawyer. I specialize in immigration, and I will be happy to answer some questions and to explain how to work and live legally in Spain.
Yay! So just to advise you, so this it's going to be a very special video. We have all the Storani Careers clients here online with us because if you don't know, we have an international career program, okay? International Career Acceleration Program, where our international professionals have the chance to see me once per week and also to talk to these amazing professionals and other professionals to enhance their chances of getting a job internationally. Okay, so if you see me talking to, like beside here, it's not because I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to the Storani Career clients. Okay, all right. So let's start from the beginning. So shall we start with Spain?
Of course.
Yeah. So we can. I want to know how is possible to work legally or to live here legally and or even move to Spain and work as a freelancer, or as in Portuguese we say PJ, which is the in English we would say sole trader. So is this possible? How is possible? And guide us in the way.
Okay. So first of all, it's very important to see what type of job you are doing, okay? And depending on this type of job, you are going to be eligible for one type of visa or the other. So we have, for example, the digital nomad visa, okay, which is meant to be like a temporary visa for 3 years for people either who work for a company as an employee, okay, or as a freelancer, for example. So in order to apply for this visa, you can either do it from your home country, from the Spanish consulate, or you can take a plane to Spain and make the application from Spain within the first 3 months from the date of arrival.
All right,
okay, because you need to be legal in Spain as a tourist.
So it means if I work in Africa or in Brazil, okay, in a remote capacity, okay, I can normally legally just move to Spain and work from here.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, but you need to apply for the residency permit here.
Oh,
first.
okay.
And this residency permit has to be granted, and if it's positive granted, then you can stay.
Okay. And is there any requirements, like do I need to be earning a certain amount of wage to apply for it?
Yeah. For the digital nomad visa, you need to demonstrate that you earn at least around 34,000 euros per year. Okay.
34. Yeah.
30. Well, actually it's 33 something, so
okay.
34,000 per year. But you can get this wage, this amount of money, either from one client or 2 or 3 clients. Okay, but the total amount has to be at least 34,000 euros.
Okay.
And also, if you want to bring your family with you,
That's a good question.
that's very important. Maybe you have a couple, maybe a partner, maybe you have a wife and kids,
dog.
or yeah, yeah, a husband. So you need to add like a percentage to this wage, okay, to be able to live here legally.
Okay, perfect. And if I want to move to Spain and try to find a job, is it possible?
Well, yes, we have another type of residency permit, which is highly qualified worker permit. It's the same as the digital nomad visa, so you can make the application from Spain within the first 90 days of legal stay in Spain. So you need to think that if you have a job offer, okay, with certain requirements, of course, you can fly to Spain and make the application from here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But if you come to Spain and start looking for a job, you might not have a lot of time to find a job, and also think that the company has to help you with the procedure.
Because okay, so sorry, let me just understand. So if I get the job offer, I can come here and apply. But if I don't have the job offer, if I have no, no opportunities right now, so I can come to Spain and stay for
Maximum 90 days.
90 days.
90,
So
90. As a
90,
legal,
3 weeks,
yes.
3 months.
It's
3
a
months.
tourist, the Schengen
It's
alignment.
like a tourist. So I can come here as a tourist, try to find a job, and if I get the job, I can change the tourist visa to work visa
Yes,
from Spain.
yes. You can apply only if you apply within the first 90 days of your legal stay in Spain. So you cannot stay longer, because otherwise you will be like no legal.
Illegal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So in Portugal, you cannot do that, Brazilians, just to let you know. But in Spain, you can. So you can come here, enter with your tourist visa, apply for the search for a job visa, right?
No, it's not search for a job. It's
It's
a highly qualified worker
a
job.
highly qualified worker job.
Yeah.
So
With
that
a-
means there is a list.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
It's only if you when you apply for this highly qualified worker visa, it's because you have a job offer from a company.
And what if they
So-
don't have a job offer?
If you don't have a job offer, you cannot make any. I mean, we don't have such a search job visa here in Spain.
All right. In Portugal, they have a search for job visa, right? But here they don't have. So you have to come here as a tourist, search for a job. You can stay 3 months, and if you find a job, you can then apply for the work visa
That's it.
while in Spain.
Yeah, that's it.
In Portugal, you can't. You have to apply from Brazil. I know that.
We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, I know. Perfect. So really good. The highly qualified visa. Where can I find this list?
You mean the list of documents or
No,
what?
the list of professions.
The list of, well, actually, their main requirements are that you have at least, that you earn at least 42,000 euros per year, okay? And your job has to be as a manager or as a highly qualified. That means that you have either 3 years of experience or you have a university degree. Okay.
Okay. So
Very important.
if you come to Spain and try to find a waitress job or jobs in the secondary,
That doesn't work.
the secondary market, like that doesn't work. So you have to have a bachelor degree, 3 years of experience, and your salary has to be above 42,000 euros per year, right?
Yeah. So the name of the visa is highly qualified worker.
Which is
So you need to.
pretty high, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a good option to come to Spain.
But what if, I am a market analyst, I have a bachelor degree and I have 5 years, and a company wants to hire me with a salary of 30K. Is possible?
No, not
No.
possible right now. Actually, the administration is thinking of maybe lower the wage a little bit.
Yeah,
the
because it's
salary.
really high for Spain.
Yeah, but we don't get this final decision yet.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then after you get the work visa, if you're Brazilian, that's what I heard. You have to say if it's true or not.
Mhm.
After 2 years, you can apply for the Spanish citizenship.
That's right. After 2 years of legal residency, okay? You need to be a legal resident in Spain. You cannot be out of Spain more than 3 months per year. So you really need to live in Spain. You need to pay your taxes here to be considered a legal resident by the Ministry of Justice, which is the ministry that will give you the answer about your Spanish citizenship application.
All
okay?
right. So for now, until now, we have 2 types of visa permits. Visa is different than permit. Now I know, guys.
Yeah, that's it.
Visa is different than permit. So we have the digital nomad permit and we have the highly qualified work permit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which other permits do we have in Spain?
Well, actually, we have a lot of permits because there are, right now, we have three different laws that regulate the immigration. Okay, so one is the entrepreneur law, which is the law that regulates, for example, the digital nomad visa, worker visa, and the highly worker visa, okay, or residency permit, depending on where you apply. And then we have like the regular immigration law that has a lot of different type of residency permits, also student permit. I wanted to introduce the student permit in Spain because in Spain, if you apply for a student permit, you have the right to work 30 hours per week, which is very good.
It's amazing because
yeah.
in Dublin, in Ireland, you only have 20 hours. You have like you can stay 8 months, and then for if I'm not wrong, 4 months you work 20 hours, and only 2 months you work 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So then, no, 6 months, 20 hours, and 2 months, 40 hours, because you get, like our holidays.
Yeah.
And here you can work 30
hours per week.
So
it's
very
almost. So in Spain, you can work like the full working hours is 40. So you as a student, you can work up to 30 hours per week.
And can I get the student visa if I come here to study Spanish?
Yes, you can, but with the Spanish students, you don't have the right to work. So it's only with high studies, for example, a master's degree or what we call here professional studies, which is not
like a postgraduate degree.
Well, it's not university level. It's for people who have finished their high school, but they don't want to go to the university. It's more professional technical
courses.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is really good because in Ireland you cannot get, a stamp 2, which is the student visa for technical courses.
Yeah, here you can. Mm-hmm. So it's a very good way to, because there are many people who say, I want to work in Spain, but I don't have a job offer. So if you don't have a job offer and you still feel like you need to improve your career by studying a little bit, so you can, for example, come here, make a 1-year master's, and then you will have the right to work for 1 year, 30 hours per week.
And after this master's, after this study, do the government gives extra years for the student to find a job?
Yes. Actually, when you finish your studies, if you have a job offer, you can modify your student permit into a residency and work permit, or if you want to set up your own business, you can also do that. If you are a freelancer, without a company but yourself, you can also apply for a working permit.
Okay.
And you can also apply for a residency permit in order to look for a job.
And how long do they have to apply to stay here after the master's or postgrad?
3 months.
So if they finish the master's, they only have 3 months to find a job.
Yeah.
But then in these 3 months, could be any type of job with any type of salary, or it has to be the 42?
No, it has to be. This is the difference between the entrepreneur law and the regular immigration law. The entrepreneur law is for highly qualified and nomad visa people who are supposed to earn a little bit more money. But if you come as a student, you can do whatever job you want, okay? And there are many people who are working in a company while they are studying. So after their studies, the company wants to keep them in the company.
Yes.
So the company will help them to continue to living here. Yeah.
And they apply for
And
the
it
work
can be
visa. It can be
whatever,
any
type
of
job.
salary.
No salary. Well, depending on the hours you work, it has to be like a certain amount of salary.
Okay.
So,
But it doesn't need to be the 42,000.
no, not stop.
So, the best way to work and live in Spain legally is to study a master's, and then after the master's, get a job, stay 2 years in this job, and apply for the
That's
Spanish
right.
citizenship.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And would these years of study count
No.
for the citizenship
no.
application? No.
No, because it's not like a residency permit, it's a stay permit. It's a difference. In Spain, we make this difference. So you don't have the same rights in immigration terms speaking if you're a student than if you are a legal resident.
Okay. Okay. Pretty
So
good.
this is a good way to come, easy and good way to come and live and work and study in Spain.
Very good. So, what else? So we have the 3 permits: the work visa, the work permit, the digital nomad permit, the student permit. Is there any other?
Oh,
That
there
you
are
recommend?
many permits. I mean, yeah, we have, for example, the non-lucrative visa. This is a visa because you need to apply from your home country. And this is a type of residency allowance that will allow you to live in Spain but not to work.
Okay.
Okay, but it's quite easy to get. Depending also on your profile, you need to show that you have at least around let's say 33,000 euros, sorry, in your bank account.
Okay.
And then if you show it to the consulate, you can get a residency permit for 1 year. Okay, but what I spoke about the profile, what is the problem? So if the consulate sees that you are like a young person, you are in a working age, they might ask for additional documents so you can prove that your final goal is to work in Spain. Since you don't have the right to work, they want to know that you don't work neither in your country and you don't have the goal to work in Spain.
So
okay?
you need to have 33,000 euros in your bank account, and you need to earn a certain amount of money per month.
To earn, no.
So 30,000 euros per month, you can stay here for 1 year.
Yeah. So this type of visa was most, let's say, done for people who was retired. Okay?
Okay.
So we have here in Spain a lot of people from other countries that want to live here for a certain amount of time. So this is a good way for people who usually don't work to come here and live legally for 1 year. So I think it's quite easy because they don't ask for so much money.
And what if I have money and I want to invest in Spain?
We don't have that type of visa anymore.
No. Okay.
So you will need to go to Portugal.
To Portugal.
Let's go.
And what if what if I want to open a business?
Yeah, you can open a business, and you mean working here as a...
In Spain, you know,
Okay.
like, so let's say I want to move to Spain, open a small business, and start trading in Europe.
Okay, so we call the self-employment visa, okay? This is not a very easy visa because you need to do a lot of paperwork and it takes a very long time, and you need to really do a lot of things. So many people who want to open a business in Spain what they do is to apply for a non-lucrative visa,
Non-lucrative visa.
and
okay.
during that 1 year they are going to prepare all the documents in order to apply for this type of residency permit. Why?
Okay.
Because depending on the type of job you have, you will need, for example, if you want to open a restaurant, before applying for the visa you need to rent the place, okay, you need to get all the licenses, you need to make a huge investment, and if the consulate finally is not going to grant you the visa, you have made a lot of investment and then you will lose everything.
Oh no.
So that's why a lot of people prefer coming here, legal resident for 1 year, and then prepare everything, be sure that everything is going to be okay, and then modify your residency.
And what
permit.
if I am what if I am a doctor or a dentist, or like this self-employed professionals?
Yeah. In order to work in Spain as a doctor, dentist, or maybe lawyer or something,
Lawyer.
you need to convalidate your studies.
Okay.
Okay, your university studies in Spain.
Okay, and then once I validate, I can come and apply for a visa, or
Yeah, you can, depending on how you want to do your job here. Maybe you will get hired by a hospital, and you want to open your business. It's the same, but it's very important for certain type of jobs, professionals. You need to convalidate your higher studies in
so
Spain.
you first validate your studies, then you search for a job.
Yeah.
But you cannot come here and then open a dentist.
No, because they will never. I mean, you can open a dentist clinic as a owner of a company. But you cannot say that you're going to work as a dentist because you are not allowed to.
You're not European.
Yeah, no, you don't have the right to work because you need to convalidate your studies, and after you convalidate your studies, you need to register in the association of professionals. For example, with lawyers here in Spain, we have the Bar Association.
Okay.
So you can only work as a lawyer if you are registered at the Bar Association.
And then after that, you search for a job.
That's right.
And then a firm can grant you the work visa.
That's it.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Any other?
Well,
Other way before we go to Portugal.
Well, yeah. Then we have the family members of European Union people. So if you are the mother or the father of the wife or
Aunt.
no, of a European person who lives here, you can also apply for a residency permit as a family member of European person.
Okay. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Many ways, guys.
Yeah, you
many
have different ways.
Yeah. So now we go to Portugal.
Let's go. So Portugal, we have many options as well,
Yes.
right? So we have, it's very easy to understand because we separate the Portuguese options from these, right? So we go from D1 up to D8, the main visa types, right? They are all national visas, which means they are residency visas, right? Which means after you have applied for the visa, you are to convalidate the visa into a residence permit, right? The visa, it's a entry permit, which is valid for 120 days, time after which we have to convert the visa into a legal residency permit, which as a rule will be valid for 2 years, renewable for an additional period of 3 years, right? So we are talking about you becoming a legal resident for 5 years, time after which we can apply for the Portuguese nationality as well, right? To obtain the third most powerful passport in the world right now, alongside with the Spanish one, right? So the options, as we spoke here, they vary from D1 up to D8. So D1 would stand for the work visa permit, right? If you have a job offer from a Portuguese company, we are supposed to be applying for the D1. The D2, differently, is the one made for those that want to incorporate their own businesses in Portugal, right? Either incorporate their own business or also work as a freelance in Portugal.
Yes.
That's the D2. D3, also just like in Spain, it's for the high qualified ones, right? The good part about the D3 is that just like in Spain, it does not require you to apply for a visa from your country of nationality or from the country where you are a legal resident. You can just fly directly to Portugal and start the relocation process up there. Then we have D4, the student visa, then D6, family reunification, and D7 for the passive income type of visa. It's similar to the non-lucrative in Spain. The good part about the D7 is that differently from Spain, you can work in Portugal. So if you are applying for the D7 in Portugal, you need to have a passive income from the country where you are living right now, but you can also come to Portugal to work there as well. There is no prohibition, which is good. D8 is the digital nomad, the very famous digital nomad visa, right? Again, valid for 120 days, convertible for 2 years, legal residence permit. So those are the main days.
The digital nomad in Portugal, it's for 2 years, and in Spain for 3 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And what's the minimum salary they need to have in Spain? In Portugal?
So
Sorry.
in Portugal, they require 4 times the Portuguese minimum wage. So the Portuguese minimum wage right now is set in 870 euros. 4 times, we are talking about 3,440 euros monthly.
Which
right?
per year is?
Which per year, I'm not good at maths, but it's going to be 3.5, 30, 40, around 40 a
so
year.
it's kind of the same, like 42. No, the digital nomad, it's
a bit higher in Portugal.
Yeah, so in Spain they require to have 2 times the minimum wage salary. In Spain we have a monthly 1,300 euro, so it's 2 times, so 2,600 euro. 12 times, so around 33 or 34,000.
Yeah, in Portugal it's 4 times. 4 times the Portuguese minimum wage. The good news about it is that you can come work remote or you can work for a Portuguese company. There is no prohibition for that or whatsoever
So in
as well.
Spain you can work only 20% of your job can be, your client can be a Spanish company.
Right.
So it can be 30%,
20%.
In Portugal?
Yeah, in Portugal for the D8, you must be working and earning that amount of money for foreign clients, right? So you must be employed or have your own business out of Portugal and be making that amount of money out of Portugal. But after that, of course, you can work for the Portuguese market as well. So you can combine the 2 of them, right?
So to enter the country, you need to have foreigners, but once you're there, you can incorporate.
Exactly. That's why it's very flexible, because once you have entered, that's why it's very important to understand the difference between visa and residence permit, right?
Can you explain to them the difference? Because for years I said visa, the work visa, and I was so wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's a classic doubt, right? So the visa, technically talking, is an authorization to enter a national territory, right? And in Portugal, it's valid for 120 as a rule. On the contrary, a residence permit in Portugal is valid for 2 years. And just like the name says, it's for residency purpose, to live there indeed, right? So for 2 years starting, renewable for an additional period of 3 years. So that's the main difference in between visa and residence permit. But you need a visa to enter Portugal legally as a rule, but we have good exceptions.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, how is in both countries? Would the digital nomad permit be eligible to apply for the European passport for the Spanish and Portuguese?
In Spain, yes, because you are a legal resident. Yeah. So the moment you get a visa, in Spain, as we mentioned before, you can fly to Spain and make the application from here, but you can also choose to make the application from the Spanish consulate, and you get a visa to enter here. Okay? If you make the application for a nomad worker visa from the Spanish consulate, you will get a 1-year visa. Okay? And you can choose to come to Spain and convert this visa. This visa is like a stamp on your passport, and to apply what we call TIE, which is a card, okay, identity card for foreigners. So the typical ID plastic, you know. So the moment you are granted the visa and you start being a resident in Spain, you can start counting the 2 years to make the application for the Spanish passport.
Well, good news for you. In Portugal, it's very similar, right? But just like Blanca explained, the procedure in Spain, very good side about it is that you can just fly to Spain and start the procedure there, right? In Portugal, as a rule, that is not allowed. We have good exceptions that we can analyze in a case-by-case scenario, but as a rule, we are entitled to have the visa beforehand, right? As for the question of Tana, which is really important, after you have been granted the residency visa, whether it's a digital nomad or a D7 for retirees, or work visa or student visa, whichever option it's best for you, it starts counting the length of time needed for the Portuguese citizenship, which is 5 years, right? So again, after you have the visa granted, which is a stamp on your passport, the time is counting already for your Portuguese citizenship, right? Which is only 5 years. Good news about Portugal is that immigration law in Portugal right now cannot be more flexible. It's really flexible. So there are good exceptions that we can play with, but also the rule is very flexible. So contrarily, from my understanding from Spain, you are required to be living indeed in Spain all the time to be a tax resident, right? As a rule in Portugal as well, right? But if you do have a business outside of Portugal, or you have necessities such as social or cultural or work related, there is no big deal. You can be out of Portugal for longer periods than the law allows you to, and we are entitled to renew your residence permit, and the time will be counted just like if you wouldn't be out of Portugal for the Portuguese nationality. So good exceptions to be used in a case-to-case analysis. So yeah, Portuguese passport, it's one step ahead of you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, why all the other countries in Europe generally is 5 years to get the European passport once you are in a permit, and in Spain is 2?
Actually, it's our civil code, okay? Is our law that regulates how much time you need to live in Spain legally in order to be able to apply for a passport. So this 2 years exception is only applied for people from South America, okay? Also from Philippines and also from Guinea, because they were colonies of Spain.
So
that's why the exception. That's right. So the rest of the nationalities, let's say United States, Canada, Australia, Egypt, it's 10 years of legal residence in order to apply for the Spanish. Yeah, but all the countries from South America, well, the Spanish-speaking countries plus Brazil, people have the right to stay here 2 years to legal residency and make the application for the Spanish citizenship.
Very good, amazing. I'm learning so much. So what else? What's the next permit?
If Tana allows me, just like in Spain, there isn't the job seeker, right, in Spain right now?
Actually, yes, there is. Before I said no, but we have this job seek residency permit, which is only be eligible for students who have finished their studies. But I don't really like this type of residency permit because it is a 2-year residency permit that allows you to seek for a job, to search for a job. But if you find a job, you have to wait until the end of the residency permit to work. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
What?
So so it's not like I can stay here legally to find a job, but if I find a job after 5 months, either I need to go back to my country to get the working visa, or I just stay 2 years. Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't even mention that because it's nonsense. So this is what we have. It's only for students who have finished their studies. They do not find a job, and they can stay here. On the other side, it's a good way to stay here. Legal residency, 2 years, no work in Spain, and you only need to show that you have like 7,200 euros per year to live in Spain. So, I mean, it could be good for some people, but for other people it's not, because you are not allowed to work immediately. But if you after you have studied your master's here, you want to stay here without working, you can apply for that. It's quite easy.
Okay. I have a question about both countries. What's the difference in regards to the permits application? So, do the professional or the person needs to be in their home country or outside of Spain, or the person can be in Spain or Portugal to apply for the permits? And which permits they can do that?
Right. So in Portugal, first of all, just before I get to turn specific, just to mention about what Blanca said here right now about the job seeker, right? The job seeker in Portugal, good news is it's valid for 4 months, right? So it's an entry permit because it's a visa. So it's an entry permit valid for 120 days, time in which can be renewed for an additional period of 2 months. So we're talking about a 6-month permit in Portugal for you to find a job in the Portuguese market, right? Good news is one of the requirements is to register the applicants before the IEFP, which is an administrative organ in Portugal that facilitates the encounter of job positions for the applicants, right? Okay. So not only the Portuguese market is booming right now, but also this organ is going to facilitate you finding the job position, right? Time after which we are to convert the job seeker visa into a permit so that you can live legally in Portugal, working from Portugal or from outside, right? Now, Astana asked a very important question here about whether you need to start the application back home or you can start it directly in Portugal, in which cases are we talking about? In Portugal, as a rule, you must start the application back home or wherever you hold a legal residency, right? Because you need to apply for the visa before the Portuguese embassy or before the private entity called VFS that facilitates the appreciation before the Portuguese authorities, so that after you can come to Portugal and convert that into a legal permit. But that's the rule. Then we have to talk the exceptions. Student, for example, students, if you are to study in a superior course, you don't need to apply for a visa beforehand. You can just come to Portugal and study directly here in Portugal, right? Just like for the D3, which is for the high qualified professionals as well, right? If you are a high qualified professional, you are entitled to come directly to Portugal and to work directly and live directly in Portugal without even applying for the visa. And thirdly, last but not least, we have the Golden Visa, which is still active in Portugal, right? Golden Visa is for investors willing to invest capital in Portugal to obtain a permit that it's a lot more flexible even than the other ones. You just need to be in Portugal for 7 days in a year, and that time, the 5-year period will be counted just like the other permits for the nationality as well. So that's Portugal.
It's absolutely different to Spain in that way. Well, actually, I have explained to you like maybe half of the type of residency permits in Spain, because we have a lot of residency permits, but depending on which one you choose, you either need to apply from the home country or the country where you have a legal residency, going to the consulate, or you can apply from Spain. But it depends. It depends. Yeah, but I would say half of them you need to go to the consulate and half of them you can apply from Spain.
Because in Ireland, you cannot apply from Ireland. Never. Ever. You can only apply for a work permit in Ireland if you are on a student permit
Okay.
only. If you go to Ireland as a tourist, you have 30 months to stay there as a tourist. If you get the job, you need to go back to Brazil and apply from Brazil.
Oh,
Yes.
it's a long way.
Yes, and different in Dubai, you can go to Dubai and apply from Dubai. It's super easy,
So
actually.
you can't change the status in Ireland. Like if you were studying and after you find a job, you can't change the status
if
in
you're
Ireland. You
yeah.
have to go back.
No, if you're studying, you can change the status.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're a student, yes, and you get a job, you can just go to immigration and then change the status. But if you are a tourist, no,
Then you have to go back.
you have to go back.
Right.
Yeah, and if you are, like, for example, working in other countries in Europe, you have to apply in the country you are working at. You know, like, let's say you want to find a job in Ireland, you need to, you know, like, apply outside of Ireland. It doesn't need to be in Brazil. It has to be, you know, like, in your where you're living at, your legal residency.
Big bureaucracy, yeah? In Portugal, no, we are more flexible. We can change the status by just proving that we have changed it, and we fulfill the requirements, so it's all good.
Very good. And I have a question as well. So, in regards, you know, like, in your opinion, legally, okay, what are the pros and cons in living and working in Spain in regards to the permits, you know, like work permits? And so what do you think it's easy or is not easy, you know, to live and work legally in Spain and in Portugal, you know, like the difference, you know, like what in your opinion, like what is easy and what is not?
Okay, your question goes like, how is the easiest way or more difficult way to get to live in Spain, for example?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so as I mentioned, if you have a job offer, okay, because usually if your main reason to live in Spain is going to be a job, most of the times you need a company to give you the job offer and help you with the procedure, okay? So as long as you have a company that is willing to assist you and help you with the procedure, then it's an easy way.
And
okay?
can the person pay the visa and the process, or the company needs to pay?
Well, there are some fees, administrative fees that a company has to pay, but it's not a big amount of money. And also there are another administrative fees that has to be paid by the worker.
By the work, both.
Yeah, depending on the type of residency permit. Yeah, but it's not very expensive, these fees. And well, I mentioned that before, the self-employment visa is not easy to get, okay, because you are not 100% sure that the consulate is going to grant you the visa. From my experience, even if you have a good file, they might not grant you the visa. And I think the student permit would be like the easiest way to come if you want to study and work, for example.
Okay.
Before we had the investor's visa, but it's gone.
It's gone.
So that was also an easy way to come into Spain.
Yeah, in regards to Portugal, of course, the main challenge that we have right now is because there is a very big backlog into the immigration authority in Portugal, right? So before we had SEF, which was the immigration authority. Now they have been changed, replaced by AIMA, right? Which makes the work before done by SEF. And as Portugal, it's very sick and searched by many expats. There is a very big backlog. Many people want to move to Portugal, so there are many applications, and that makes the immigration authorities taking a long time to analyze the process, right? That's the challenge. What is the solution? The solution is having a good assistance by us, for example, so that we can file an administrative procedure before Lisbon Court, for example, that is going to speed up the process within 2 to 3 months, depending on the case. But as a rule, the process can be speeded up as filing an administrative procedure before the courts in Portugal, right? That's the way we are doing for our clients. That's a good solution. It's still effective, but I must be honest, there are many administrative procedures already filed. So time is now. The law hasn't been changed. It's still very flexible. Portugal has its doors, windows open for expats and investors. So time to come is right now, without a doubt.
And so in your experience, okay, what are the most common mistakes professionals, people do when they try to do themselves alone, without lawyers or without the help of professionals?
Okay, so usually the bigger mistakes, for example, if you apply from Spain, is to do everything wrong from the first moment. I mean, because you need to apply, most of them you need to apply online, okay? And the problem, let's say, in Spain we have a law, or we have 3 different laws that will give you like the general information, but then the administrations in Spain, they work that they have their own ways of working without letting the public know what are the new rules by them they are working. Okay, so they might change the way they are requesting some type of document, for example, and you just get to know it when they tell you during your procedure. Okay, so if you follow the law and you prepare your file, you are going to be requested to apply for more documents. Okay, so this is the main problem we have in Spain. So people who work in the immigration field, like lawyers, we know how to deal with the administration and what is the exact thing that they are going to require, because this is not easy to find in the law. Sometimes they don't even give you the information. Yeah. And also, obviously, when we are speaking about documents from another country, in the Spanish law, they say, we need this type of document, but maybe this type of document does not exist in the other country.
Yes.
That is very important. So here we have, for example, I don't know, what we call a life vida laboral, which is a document that is issued by the administration, and you can find all the information about all your life work.
A curriculum?
Okay? No, it's not curriculum. It's issued by the administration. So there is registration.
It's like our work carteira de trabalho.
Okay.
Something like that.
Certo.
Yeah, maybe you have it, but in some other countries they don't have it. So if the administration, the law will ask you, I need this type of document, and maybe you don't have that in your country. So we will let you know what type of documents you can maybe bring. So this is the main challenge here in Spain. Okay. And this is, if you don't get assistance from someone who is used to work in this field, it's not very easy.
Because I know a lot of you that are watching us can make this mistake, or not, can try to apply yourself alone, or can use the help of a cheap professional that's not a lawyer. I know there's a lot of Brazilians, doing immigration in Spain, in Portugal. They're not lawyers, and they sell you the service, and at the end, you pay double.
That's right, and I must agree with Blanca, because in Portugal is the same scenario. The biggest mistakes that I've seen in my professional career in Portugal is the same that Blanca mentioned. Blanca brought up very well, because documentation analysis is a big part of the relocation procedure, right? So if we don't have the correct pieces of documents, your file either is going to be denied and we must appeal, or it's going to take a lot longer to be appreciated by the Portuguese government, right? So having a tailor-made list of documents sent to you, the documentation properly authenticated by us, because in Portuguese lawyers we have notary powers, which means we are entitled to authenticate documentation on your behalf. So if you don't have the documentation properly organized, it's going to take long, and your file might be denied, right? Just like Blanca mentioned, well, an example for clients that don't have the work document, right? For example, the clients applying from the UAE, as Tana knows better than me, as a rule, people from the UAE don't hold tax numbers, right? And that's one of the pieces that Portuguese government is requiring for the application. In order that we can succeed applying from Dubai, from Sharjah, or from Abu Dhabi, for example, before VFS, we must organize the documentation well so that it's not going to take longer, the procedure.
Yes. Very good, very good. And do you have any other visa to cover?
Well, we have a few. We have mentioned the main ones, right, from D1 up to D8, which are the residence permits. Then we mentioned a little bit about golden visa. We are happy to have a different convo and a different conversation so that we can talk more specifically about golden visa, which is still a very good option for those willing to obtain the Portuguese nationality within just 5 years, right? We do have the job seeker as well. Then we have also, just like Blanca mentioned, if you are a family member for an European citizen already, we have the other law, 37 from 2006. Article 15 entitles you to apply for the family reunification procedure, which is a law facilitated. It's an administrative procedure, faster than the standard ones, and it's a good way to legalize yourself in Portugal as well. So all in all, I would say just quite a few options are available. Portuguese law is really flexible, and we are happy to analyze your case so that we can best advise onto the best strategy, right?
I have a question. So can you explain the difference between the Portuguese and Spanish student permit? Like, so if I want to apply for if I want to study a master's, study a postgrad, so how many hours both countries can work while studying, how many years after the graduation the professional has to find a job, and how if counts and how long it counts to apply for the citizenship.
From what I learned from Blanca, I believe in Spain it's a little bit more bureaucratic. So that's why I will start here saying that Portugal, it's easier to make that switch. Why? Because once you have applied for a student visa for Portugal to study in a master's, for example, MBA or postgrad, whichever superior course it's best for you, bachelor's as well, at any time, at any moment within your legal residency in Portugal, you can ask the immigration authorities, we can file a request for you, or you can do it yourself following our instructions, to be granted the permission of working in parallel to your studies, right? No limit, full-time, part-time, they are both accepted, right? And after you have, very important, you must conclude with success your studies, so very that important. Time after which you can have the right to switch to a fully work permit, Portuguese residency, right?
And how long do they have to apply for the visa? How long they can stay legally in the country until find a job?
So they don't have a minimum or maximum time that they have to stay in the country. Once again, the student permit will be valid for 2 years, right?
Okay.
Within this time, Tana, within this 2-year legal residence permit for studies, they can at any moment switch it to work permit or to ask for the permission to be working in parallel as well, right? So they don't have to wait to conclude it, so they can work in parallel.
So sorry. I'm studying a master's. While I'm studying a master's, I can work part-time, 20 hours, right?
If you require permission for the immigration authorities beforehand. The answer is yes, you can, but you need to ask for permission before.
Okay, beforehand. So while I'm studying, I work, and then let's say I finished my graduation and I haven't found a job. So I have 2 years to stay in the country and switch this permit to work permit.
No, you don't have the time again. So let's say you are a student and you have a 2-year legal residence permit, right?
Okay.
So let's say your permit starts right now in May 2025 until May 2027, right? In May 2027, Tana, you will have to renew your permit, right? And on that appointment in May 2027, you have two options. You can tell the authorities, look, I have succeeded in my studies and now I want to change my status to a fully work permit. Or authorities, look, actually, I still have to study a little bit more so that after I will change for the work permit. So that's the proof. I'm still enrolled, I'm studying still, and after I will change for a work permit if I wish, right?
Okay. Any type of salary, any type of job.
That's right. No requirement.
So no requirements in regards to salary and type of jobs, because, for example, in Ireland, they would still need to be in the stamps requirements, like which is a minimum of 35,000, not be in the ineligible list of workers. So it's easier, okay? Much easier.
Obviously, receiving at least the Portuguese minimum wage and having the contract fully authenticated and proper.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But then, and after that, 5 years to get the citizenship.
Meanwhile, the time is already counting, right?
It's already
By
counting.
the time you receive a visa back home,
Even
whether
if
it's
it's
for
a student visa, student visa?
either for a student, yeah. Whenever you are a legal resident, time it's counting already, right? And for the residency visas as well. So let's say you are in South Africa, so you're applying for Johannesburg for D8, digital nomads. We have a few clients from there, right? So after the visa has been granted and they are still in South Africa, that 120 days, according to the understanding of the Portuguese courts, can be used for the Portuguese nationalities for the 5 years. Yeah.
And what about Spain?
Regarding the student permit, it's very similar, but the difference is that with the student permit, you already have the right to work. So when you get your residency card, on the back of the card, you can read you are authorized to work. So you don't need to ask for additional permission in order to work. Only if you were to come and study, for example, Spanish, as you say, you don't have the right to work. You will have to do the same as Guilherme has explained. You need to apply for an additional work permit.
Okay, so then let's say I'm studying masters in Spain, I can work 30 hours, and in Portugal I can work 20 hours. And then after 20, right?
Or full time.
Full time?
Yeah.
It can, seriously?
Yes, part-time or full-time. There is no limit to that, no limitation.
Oh God, that's amazing. In Ireland, only 20 hours.
No, you can
part-time.
have a work contract before a Portuguese company.
So let's say you can work full time in the morning and then go to college, go to university.
Yeah, morning and afternoon, for example, full time, and then in the evening go to college. No big issue.
That's amazing. And imagine you do a 3 years or 4 years bachelor degree. You only have 1 year to apply for the Portuguese citizenship.
That's right.
Amazing.
That's right.
And
very quick.
so and then in Spain you have 30 hours, to work while you are studying, and then after you finish your studies, what happened?
You have in Spain, the duration of your residency, of your legal stay as a student is the same duration of your studies. So if you study a master's, a 12 months master, you will get a 12-month stay
to find a job.
If you're going to study for 6 months, you get a 6 months.
Okay.
It's not like 2 years like in Portugal. Depending on the duration of your studies, then you get a different.
Very good. Okay. I'm asking that because in Ireland, it's really different. Like in Ireland, they study a master's, and then while they're studying a master's, they work part-time, and with a student permit. And after the master's or after the bachelor, sometimes they don't get a full-time job. Because they need to be in that list, of critical skills or the general skills, a minimum salary of 35,000, and so I'm asking that because a lot of professionals goes to Ireland to study English, or then goes to a master's or a bachelor, and then after the bachelor they still don't get jobs and they don't still get the work permit. So that's why I'm asking, how long can you stay after your master's in Portugal and Spain? Because this happens in Ireland, but to be honest, I don't think it happens in Spain or Portugal, because they don't have to be in this specific list of professionals and minimum salary, right?
That's right.
It has to be like, if you come to Portugal or Spain, you study and you can get a job with a minimum salary, any type of job related to your profession, or even not related to profession, but a career job, right?
That's it.
So it's much easier, because like you can get a full-time job while you're studying, or a 30 hours job while you're studying, and then after you finish college you just change the permit.
That's right.
With no minimal requirements, with no list of highly skilled professionals. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that offers a lot of opportunities for the Spanish market and also for the people who study here.
Yes, of course. And would this time studying counts for the citizenship, the Spanish citizenship? Okay,
No, because it's a stay permit. It's not a residency permit. It's a difference.
So then if you're Brazilian or South American, you finish your master's, get a job, then it starts to count the 2 years to apply for the Spanish citizenship,
That's
right? Really good. I love it. I'm learning so much. It's gonna help our professionals so much. You cannot believe.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you for inviting us.
No, I'm super happy. So, do you have any other subjects or permits to cover?
Well, so very quickly in Spain we also have like different type of permits for people who have stay in Spain like illegally for 2 years. So people who have come resided here without any type of residency permit, they can apply for a residency permit after 2 years of staying in Spain. I mean, we have a lot of people from third countries living in Spain without any permission, but they have the right to turn their irregular stay into a legal stay.
Ah, that's good, because in Portugal,
In Portugal they have removed that option right now. So there is no way of just entering, for example, and starting the procedure directly. Just if we go for the options we've spoken, just like students, high qualified or golden visa. But as a rule, the expression of interest, which was called manifestação de interesse, had been removed right now. They might come back with it or with a similar tool in the near future, but right now, no, it's not active any longer.
To finish our meeting, our interview, I want to ask the both of you to say some words to our professionals that are seeing us in regards to, how can they get the job, how they can expand their career internationally. Say something to inspire them.
Okay, you start.
Well, of course, as we have spoken about the options in Spain and Portugal has lots of options just like Spain, right? So the doors and windows are opened for you to come to Portugal or to Spain to start a new life, to start a new part of your business life as well. It's very important to remember that right now we are all very connected, the entire world, right? So don't be stuck in one place, right? Explore it all, right? Explore it all, because everything is open and connected right now. So immigration law is still very flexible. So we are here to assist you in terms of immigration, corporate taxation, nationality, and real estate, everything that is related to your relocation, right? We offer you a full package. So we are here for you to help you explore Europe and the rest of the world as well.
And you?
And for people who are willing to come to Spain, I say that as Guilherme, we have a lot of options, and you also have the right to come with your family, okay? It's very important. And Spain is a very big country. You have different options to live, big cities, small cities, beach, the mountains, and you can develop your work here. We have a lot of universities. You can discover a new world, study, and do a lot of things. It's very important that you get very good advice on this procedure, okay? But once you get everything here, living here will be very nice.
Amazing. And if you are interested in getting in touch with them, they are from Relocate Immigration. I always say it wrong. Relocate.
So we are from Nomad Relocate and
Nomad
Invest
Relocate.
Overseas, right? You can find us easy in info@nomadrelocate.com or on the WhatsApp 351-927-991-070. But we can send it in written as well, right? Now
Yes.
Blanca has her own contact as well.
Yeah, I will share my contact, my email, and my WhatsApp number with Anna, so you can, if you're interested in having some information, please feel free to contact me.
Contact them. Tell them you're coming from Storani Careers. They will treat you much better, and they might give you a discount. You know, right?
That's right.
Of course.
Okay, guys. So look, see you in another YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked, like share this with your parents. Parents, no. If you liked, share with your friends, with colleagues, anyone that would be interested. And see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.